Good morning. My name is Tracy Moore, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of Donate Life South Carolina, it brings me great pleasure to welcome all of you here today. April is National Donate Life Month, and as a part of that celebration, we're gathered here today to share with you our successful partnerships and special friendships here today who share the same goal, and that is helping people to heal and live happy, healthy, and productive lives. South Carolina is very fortunate to have dedicated support of our state leaders who support our cause and are willing to share this life-saving information with all the residents here. Please join me and give a warm welcome to the Honorable Henry McMaster, Governor of South Carolina.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just very briefly, this really is a great moment in this beautiful building, probably the most beautiful of all state capitals and the most beautiful of all states, South Carolina. And this effort today that is reflected by this assembly is one of the most important things that we do. Life is great in South Carolina, but lives need to be long, healthy, and happy. And sometimes they're not that way. And the answer to that is readily in front of us. It's very apparent. And that is the purpose of the Donate Life Month declaration, is to emphasize to the people of South Carolina that we all know that we are different. Our state is different. Every state's a little different from all of the others. But our state is really different. And it's a wonderful place. And this is an expression, a further expression of how we help one another. It's the old golden rule. It's being kind to your neighbor, and it's also getting involved in the life of your state. The life in your state is not a spectator sport. It's something you got to get out of the bleachers and go do something, or it won't be done. So this is a proclamation that I'm proud to read, and I want to urge everyone it's so simple to become a donor. All you have to do is register. You can do it online. You can do it when you get your driver's license, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And it'll be taken care of, and you might be saving lives all over South Carolina or maybe other places, and I've done it myself. State of South Carolina, Governor's Proclamation. Whereas bestowing the gift of life through organ, eye, and tissue donation is one of the most meaningful and generous acts people can perform. And whereas more than 120,000 men, women, and children, including approximately 1,000 residents of the Palmetto State, await life-saving or life-enhancing organ transplants. And whereas, with a new patient added to the national waiting list for organ transplant every 10 minutes, the need for organ, eye, and tissue donation grows daily. And whereas the critical shortage of donors remains a public health crisis, contributing to an average of 22 deaths each day, due to the lack of available organs for transplant. And whereas organ, eye, and tissue donation can provide families the comfort of knowing the gift of donated organs and tissues endows another person with renewed hope for a healthy life. Now therefore, I, Henry McMaster, Governor of the great state of South Carolina, do hereby proclaim April 2017 as Donate Life Month throughout the state, and encourage all South Carolinians to honor those who have made the decision to give the gift of life, learn more about the process of becoming an organ donor, and work together to raise awareness of the extreme need for organ, eye, and tissue donations to save the lives of individuals in our state and nation. And it's signed by me, Henry McMaster, Governor of the state of South Carolina. And we thank you for being present.
Thank you so much for being here and showing your support and friendship. We really, really appreciate that. Our next guest has been a great friend and advocate, supporting all aspects of donation. She attends our events throughout the year and is always really ready to lend a hand to help. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Senator Katrina Shealy, as this is her 5th concurrent resolution year in support of us.
As always, it's an honor to be here. You know, I can't say enough about those who donate, you know, organs and give life to others. You know, I see so many. I see my good friend Denise out there who gave her kidney to her sister when she needed, and so many others of you out there who have donated, and we appreciate that. And it's my honor, as it is every year, to give this Senate resolution, and I'm just going to read a part of it because all our wherefore and whereases are always the same, so I'm not going to be redundant. But it's a Senate resolution to declare April 12, 2017 as Donor Day in the state of South Carolina, to honor all those who have made the decision to give the gift of life, to focus attention on the extreme need for organ, eye, and tissue donation, and to encourage all residents to take action and sign up on South Carolina's organ and tissue donor registry at their local South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles office or to Donate Life South Carolina's website. Be it resolved by the Senate that the members of the South Carolina Senate by this resolution declare April 12, 2017 as Donor Day in the state of South Carolina. Honor all those who have made the decision to give the gift of life, focus attention on the extreme need for organ, eye, and tissue donation, and encourage all residents to take action and sign up on South Carolina's organ, tissue, and donor registry at their local South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles office or at the Donate Life South Carolina's website. Katrina F. Shealy in the Senate, Columbia, South Carolina. I hereby certify that the foregoing is a true and correct copy. Jeffrey S. Gossett, Clerk of the Senate. Thank you again.
Thank you again, Senator Shealy. We really, really appreciate everything you do. Many of you are aware that beginning January of 2017, LifePoint, the first organ procurement organization for South Carolina, went through 2 large changes. They changed their name and welcomed a new CEO at the helm. It is my honor and privilege here today to introduce David DiStefano, President and CEO of We Are Sharing Hope SC.
Thank you. I'm truly honored to be here today to have the opportunity to meet the many people, partner organizations, and staff who help the life-saving cause and the mission of organ, tissue, and eye donation in South Carolina. Today, there are 120,000 people waiting for a transplant in the United States, and approximately 1,000 of those live right here in our great state of South Carolina. Every 10 minutes, another person is added to the list. That's 150 people every day who are waiting for that life-saving gift. Unfortunately, 22 of these individuals will die waiting for a gift that will never come. These statistics keep us working every day at Sharing Hope South Carolina and at Donate Life South Carolina to help save lives, enhance lives, and hopefully give some peace to the donor families. And it's those statistics that's why it's vital for us to have good working relationships with our partner organizations in this state. Over the years, many volunteers have dedicated countless hours of their time promoting the mission of organ, tissue, and eye donation in South Carolina. These volunteers are made up of donor families, transplant recipients, those who are waiting, and family members who lost a loved one waiting for their precious gift. Without their help, it would be impossible for us to accomplish the goals of saving lives through the miracle of donation. At this time, I would like to ask the volunteers to please raise their hand and be recognized. Thank you all for your dedication and continued support of the miracle of organ, tissue, and eye donation. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And as a transient myself, I will swear to you today, this is a great state. I love it. Partnerships are the real force behind one small idea expanding and becoming a reality. As I've said many times, without the assistance and supportive partnership of our local and state DMV offices, many lives would be lost in South Carolina. Today, I'm honored to introduce a great friend who's been supportive, and once you've met him, you can never forget him, Colonel Kevin Schwado.
Well, I want to tell you what a great honor it is to be a part of the DMV team. And before I get started, I've got to thank two great friends for allowing us to participate. Number one, we have the governor's complete support on Donate Life. And when every member of the DMV understands the critical importance of this function, we know we have support from the boss, so we thank you. Senator Katrina Shealy has been here every opportunity since she took office. As a senator, she is leading the charge, and anything that we need in terms of saving lives, she's been there every step of the way, and we want to thank you for that support. We can't afford to lose that partnership we've got with you in the Senate, and we thank you. It's a great honor because there are very few things in life that you can do to where you get up in the morning and you know each and every day you're saving lives. I mean, with Donate Life, unfortunately, somebody's got to give a life, in most cases, to save a life. But each and every day, there are people receiving new organs. They're getting tissue transplants and cornea transplants, and we are saving South Carolinians. We are making this the great state that it is because we're retaining more of our citizens because the program works. Now, I will tell you that when I came to the DMV, we probably really weren't doing as well. We had about a 20% participation rate. But you know what? When the people at the DMV understand that there is a mission out there that's got to be accomplished, they came together. They came up with the good ideas as to how to increase the participation rate. And so I will tell you, one of the things was just a goofy thing. We talked about it last year, but it's worked like a champ. It was Ring the Bell campaign. So when somebody came into the DMV, one of the employees would say, would you participate in the Donate Life program? And when they said yes, we asked them to ring a bell. And they took pride in ringing the bell. They rang the bell. And all of a sudden, every employee in the DMV stopped and clapped one time. Now, what do you think happened when everybody else in the DMV heard the bell ring and the clap? Well, what's that? It's somebody donating life to another member of this great state, and we get another one. Well, how effective has the campaign been over the last couple of years? We are now at a 52% percentage rate. We've got 1.8 million people in this state who understand the critical importance of donating life to other members of this community. And you can look out, and we have members in every one of our families, in every part of our community that has benefited one way or another. And after this press conference, I'm going to have one of my employees come up and say, geez, I didn't realize that it was having such an impact on people, and they'll tell me about one of their loved ones. If you just open the door and you talk about it, or if you do as I do, on the back of the license plate, if you're a participant, you have a heart on your driver's license. My favorite line is, and Coach, where's Coach Weiss here? Yeah, my favorite line with these guys, and we talked about it earlier, and you may even talk about it a little later, is I'll look at a person and I'll say, do you have heart? Because it's the one thing that scared me from a football coach my entire career, was having the coach look at you and say, you don't have heart. Well, I'm looking at people right now, and I ask every one of you, by God, do you have heart? And I'm going to look at those licenses of yours. We want to make sure that we're pushing people towards that end state. Because 1.8 million is just the tip of the iceberg. We want to go all the way. We want this program to be successful, and we need your help to articulate it, and that's what today is all about. Now, on the positive side, every good team, every great team has a franchise player, a superstar. This is like the NFL's announcement. We've got our franchise player. We've got our superstar. We've got a gentleman over here who I'm going to go ahead and introduce now that is one of 4 individuals in America. As an old college football player, I appreciate this probably more than anybody else in things, that's done something pretty special. One of 4 people that has played in a Super Bowl. He's been an assistant coach of the Super Bowl, and he was a Super Bowl head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the modesty in him allows him to only wear one of those Super Bowl rings. I wanted to see the glitz, Coach. I wanted to see it all. But he let me hold it, which was really cool. So we've got that franchise player, and I will tell you that anything that I could have said will pair in comparison to what this man's personal story is with regards to Donate Life. So I'd like to introduce you all to Coach Sam White, our franchise player.
Thank you. In the first place, I was a free agent when I made the Bengals back in 1968 as a player. But I want to bring to life some of the numbers that you've heard up here and some of the endorsements that you've heard up here. In mid-August last year, 2016, I was out cleaning up the yard after a storm had hit, cutting down some tree limbs with a chainsaw, and I was trying to get the yard cleaned up. And as I was cutting down the tree limbs, I started to feel a little bit goofy, and I didn't think I was going to be able to finish the job. And then I got to thinking about it. I got this chainsaw right up above my head up here. And if I were to faint right now, I could ruin a perfectly good chainsaw. So I got out of there, went back into the house. My wife noticed I wasn't exactly right, took me to the doctor. That doctor took me immediately to the hospital. The hospital, within a day or two, sent me to Carolinas Medical Center because my heart was in worse shape than they thought. Well, when I checked in and the doctors at Carolina Medical in Charlotte did the test, they came back in and said, Sam, it's worse than we thought. You don't have long, period. Then they said, this was on a Monday, you probably have until the end of the week to live, unless we get a heart, unless someone donates a heart out there. And I have right here my calendar. I've been showing them, you can't see it very much, but every day it says no heart, no heart, no heart, no heart. And it was getting closer to Friday. When Friday came, I begged them to give me the weekend. They said, all right, now listen, Bones, if you take it this weekend, you're going to give up the chance for us to put a LVAD pump in here and extend your life. Not necessarily save it, just extend it to give it a little more time for a heart to be found. I said, you know what? I don't think I want to do that. I want to give the weekend a chance. Saturday and Sunday, no heart. Monday morning, the 12th of September, a doctor walked in, surgeon walked in and said, Sam, we got bad news. We do not have a heart for you. We're going to send you home after lunch and let hospice take care of you for as long as necessary, but Sam, it won't be long. You probably won't live through the night. That evening at 5 o'clock, the same surgeon walks in and says, Sam, unbelievable, this is a miracle. We found a heart that's your size, about the size of your fist, that's how big your heart is, and your blood type. We got a surgeon on the way to get it, and we'll get it back here. Well, they had me prepped when the heart got back, and at 2:30 that morning, they started surgery. When half of my heart hadn't really pumped, it had been helped with a LVAD pump, hadn't pumped in over an hour. The other part was slowly given out. They didn't know which one would be the last one. That's how close it came. There are 1,000 stories, but that's my story. The next morning at 6:30 a.m., I'm back in the hospital recovery room, and the doctors have replaced my heart with another heart of somebody I've never met, don't know, and may never meet the donor family. Obviously, I'll never meet him. He died tragically. That is what has already been mentioned. There's always a tragedy at one end, but the greatest gift that person could leave is to leave the gift of life or the gift of enhancing a life with tissue. Could be the cornea, could be skin, could be ligaments, or an organ, a kidney, which is the most commonly used for transplants, liver, heart, lung, whatever it happens to be. I have a heart in me now, and 3 weeks, 5 days after the surgery, I rode 15 miles on my bicycle. I had a good heart and a good doctor. I just got back yesterday. That's why I'm wearing my collar undone and all that kind of stuff from getting a biopsy where the heart shows no rejection after tomorrow will be 7 months since that transplant took place. Here's the meat of it. I hope you will not just make sure you've got that insignia on your driver's license. All you have to do is say, I want it on there, and they'll do it. No cost, doesn't cost you a dime. But you'll make sure your neighbors, your friends, your loved ones, your family members, If you're a part of the Gamecock football team, everybody on that football team has that on theirs. Clemson Tigers, same deal. Furman, Wofford, PC, Newberry, if all those people, the most needed group of people are young males. Get all of those young people to put that on their driver's license. And the greatest gift they could leave mankind as they leave this earth will be enough organs to save 8 lives, and up to 50 people could have their life enhanced with what goes on from the donations that come out of that body that you're no longer going to use. You're going to spend eternity without that body, but you can leave your memory here. What a great gift. Thanks for having me here, and thanks for all that you guys do. Thanks, Governor.
Thank you again, Sam, for sharing that powerful story. We really
I'm
appreciate
sweating. Is
it.
that all right?
That's fine.
Let me do it.
We sweat a lot here.
That's right. 90% of patients on the waiting list today are waiting for a kidney here in South Carolina. The average waiting time for a kidney from a deceased donor is 3 to 5 years. A kidney from a living donor offers patients an alternative to years of dialysis and time on a transplant waiting list. The living donor's remaining kidney will enlarge, doing the work of 2 healthy kidneys. Our next guests will share with you their strong bond and friendship through the gift of living donation. Please welcome Stephanie Finley and Becky Bowman of Liberty, South Carolina.
Hey there. My name is Stephanie Finley, and at this very time, 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day ago, I was donating my kidney to my dear friend Becky Bowman. I became a living donor. Becky and I became friends because our sons became friends. They hit it off, and we hit it off. And a strong bond was formed, but we never realized just how strong that bond would become down the road. Becky and I enjoyed regular mom's dinners out. We would have dinner and conversations and great debates. Being working moms with teenagers pretty much required that. In the summer of 2014, we were having dinner, and Becky told me that she was having some issues with her kidneys, that she would have to have a biopsy done. I'm pretty sure at that dinner, I'm like, you can have one of my kidneys. Not really thinking that, it could happen, but it did. The following summer, Becky told me that indeed her kidneys were failing and she would have to go on dialysis and she would be on the transplant list. And I reminded her immediately, let me get tested. So I got tested and I was a match. And it was a blessing. It was meant to be. We really felt like it was meant to be. So like I said, exactly 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day ago, we were in adjoining operating rooms, giving and receiving. I can say with total honesty and belief that donating that kidney was one of the greatest things I've ever done and will ever do. But leading up to it and afterwards, of course, Becky kept thanking me. But the thing is, I'm the one that got the gift. My friend is healthy, and she's here, not just for me, but most importantly for her 3 sons, for her family and her friends and her community and her church. And I can witness that. We are the ones that gained the greatest gift, and I did that. I saved my friend's life, and that is truly a feeling like no other. So here I am. Now, when I got my driver's license many, many years ago, I proudly became a registered organ donor. Now, that was before the heart and the online registry, but we had those little paper cards that I proudly had in my wallet, took everywhere I went. But the thing is, you can actually save a life right now, and you can watch that life live. And you can have a functional life, pretty much the same life that you have right now. Very little change, if no change at all. I wish, I want, and I hope and I strive for more people to learn about living organ donation. I think if they realized how, you can live a good life, same life, more people would be interested and willing to save lives. I'll step aside for Becky now, but I want to end with one of my favorite quotes. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I am Becky Bowman, and when I was in my mid-20s, I had strep throat, and as a result of strep throat, I developed kidney disease. For about 3 years after my incident with strep throat, I had to see a nephrologist, and then my symptoms disappeared, and it lay dormant for 30 years. And about 5 years ago, I began to have those same symptoms show and started being under the care of a nephrologist. And as they tracked, I had a couple of kidney biopsies. As they tracked, I was losing kidney function. And the last half of 2014, I did not feel well. All of 15, I did not feel well. And I was pretty miserable by the time that we had our transplant. Back in 2006, I became involved with the Department of Social Services. And I began to foster 3 boys. They were brothers. They were 4, 5, and 7. And in 2009, I ended up adopting those boys. I am still single. That's one of my questions when I get to heaven. Why didn't I have some help? And I will ask the Lord about that. And so right now, very comfortably laying in bed, I'm sure, watching TV, is Noah Bowman, 17, and Isaac, 16, and Jacob is 15. Noah and Isaac have a deadly disease called Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. They both are in wheelchairs, and Noah's gotten where he can't even lift his hands. So the end of 14, all of 15, and up to the transplant, my care for my boys just continued to diminish. I didn't really care that much about me, but watching my boys, I thought that I would be able to provide them a much better life than I was at that time. So that was really tough. So when I found out that I had to have a transplant, it's just like what Stephanie said. And so grateful for the people down at Georgia Regents, Augusta University is what they're calling it now, but they were just terrific. We both were accepted into the program. We had the transplant, and y'all, I was laying in recovery. And I was 61 years old at the time, and I was laying in recovery, and I felt like I was 30 years old. It was remarkable, the difference that that little organ, the difference that it made. I'm so lucky. I was only on dialysis for 9 months. What I would ask is that we would all begin in our sphere of influence to begin to promote being a kidney, providing a kidney to someone. I would also encourage all of us to meet with people who are on dialysis. There are so many people on dialysis. It is a horrible way of life, and it is incredibly expensive. Why are they not seeking donation? And you'll find, particularly in the lower socioeconomic group of our state citizens, there are some things that they fear if they got a transplant. They fear about their health care. In your sphere of influence, would you begin to look at that, ways that you could help? I publicly, again, want to thank Stephanie. She did save my life. I don't even want to think what might have happened to my boys had I not had this transplant. So unfortunately, when Coach got his gift, somebody paid a price, and Stephanie has paid a price. She's very modest. But I'm here to tell you that I will continue to plug in. I will continue to raise my boys. I still work. I work in our community, and I want to do all I can to glorify God and to make sure people understand how grateful I am for what Stephanie Finley did for me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, ladies, very much. That's truly an inspirational story of love. We appreciate your coming today. Our next guest is a dear friend and volunteer who is here to share with you her story of a true hero, her son, who saved 5 lives through the gift of organ donation. Please join me in welcome Miss Brenda Pogue.
Thank you, Tracy, for this opportunity. In August 2004, my son and my only child suffered a brain aneurysm and a stroke shortly after he reported to his job. 5 days later, he was declared brain dead. To say that my world had come crushing down around me is an understatement. He and his wife had just been married less than 2 years, and I hold their pictures here today. They had had a brief conversation after they got married about becoming organ donors, and they knew that I had signed up several years ago. But I'm very grateful to her to realize his love and the giving heart that he had to allow him to be an organ donor. We were able to donate both of his kidneys, his heart, and his liver. I've had the pleasure of meeting his right kidney recipient, a very sweet young lady who lives in Gaffney, and now I have a daughter. That process was very difficult, however, as he lay in intensive care and I'm praying for him. I said to God, surely you're not going to take my only child from me. He's all I have. But he whispered and told me, after all, he's mine. I just loaned him to you for a little while. That was hard to accept, but I know my God doesn't make any mistakes. And I know that I'm going to see my son again. If you have not considered becoming an organ donor, I ask that you pray about it, that you talk to your family and loved ones about it, and consider it. We used to have a bumper sticker that says, "Don't take those organs back to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here." I've talked to my family. They know what my wishes are, and I feel sure that they will comply with those wishes. But where I'm planning on going, I'm not going to need any of this earthly shell. I'll have something much, much better. And I pray that you will consider that and sign up to become organ donors as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda, for sharing your heartfelt story today. We really appreciate it. It takes the focus and mission of all agencies partnering here today to save and improve one single life through transplantation. I now would like to thank each dedicated partnership here. South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles, We Are Sharing Hope SC, Miracles in Sight, MUSC Transplant Surgeons and Hospital, National Kidney Foundation, Be the Match, the American Red Cross, Bridge to Life, and True Friends for Donate Life. In closing, we have an exciting announcement of an upcoming pilot partnership in South Carolina. There's a couple here today. Dr. Jim Hayes and his wife, Glenda, really spearheaded this for the past 5 years. I have to give a shout out to them. But Donate Life America and NAMI of South Carolina will partner this, and we will be the first in the nation here in South Carolina. The ultimate goal of this union is to support medical and scientific researchers who study the human brain in search of better medications and treatments, and ultimately a cure for brain diseases and disorders. I also must today give a shout out to my great friend Royce Carter and family, as they helped very much finance the group that's putting this together and it possible for me to share this with you today. We are going to present more about this in May of 2017 in celebration of National Mental Illness Month. So please be on the lookout for that. We're excited to share it. Thank you all for coming here today. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules with your families, with spring break and Easter coming up. Please be blessed and have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.